The sing-
Well, hold on, hold on. Welcome to the waiting room, folks. It is June 16th, 2022. Yeah, I messed all that up. Today, we have, first we'll have Tom Palmieri a little bit later and he's gonna talk about ProgStock, some band announcements and ticketing announcements. But I have Shane and Beau from Evership with me. The new album, The Uncrowned King, is going to be coming out in a couple months, but they just released a single today called Coronation. Shane, Beau, how are you guys doing?
hey, Marty.
Hey,
What's
Marty.
happening?
It's all happening.
Yeah, Shane is at home and Beau is in Oregon, and
Alrighty.
uh, and so we're talking from two different places. Um, oh, and of course I forgot to send Tom the link. This has been crazy today, folks. Anyway, he just sent it to me, so I got it. But so the new single's coming out, and I listened to it like 3 or 4 times today. Really, really cool. It's a little bit different, a little bit more refined. I guess it's the progress that the band is making as a band. Could you talk a little bit about the new album? And maybe, Shane, if you could kind of tell the quick story again of what the album's about so people understand.
Sure, sure. Well, it's a two-album rock opera. I'm sure if anyone who knows Evership, it's The Uncrowned King, which is a story from 1911 by an American author named Harold Bell Wright. It's a basically an allegory about the nature of truth. And we released Act One. We broke it up into two releases, and the first one was released in 2020, and I think some of our
The
COVID
last
brand.
couple of years have been kind of a blur. We
Well, they've
understand.
been a
Yeah.
blur, but maybe that, yeah. So, but we continued during that time during COVID and just kind of kept cranking on. So the next Act Two, people wondered if it was going to happen. It is happening. We're going to be releasing that in the fall,
Okay.
and we are going to come out with some singles before though. And we have already released the what we call the overture, since it's an opera. We're not
Hmm.
going to call it a sampler, but it's the overture video, and you can kind of get a taste of the whole record. But yeah, we've got a sneak peek to show you for the first single that will be coming out next week on Wednesday,
Okay.
and
Video.
that's the 22nd. Those will be the single itself. It'll be
Okay.
available for streaming,
Okay.
um, and um, and we'll also have, of course, some merch bundles and some special things on the website for people to. And you can do pre-orders. I guess that's the biggest thing. So the single comes out and the pre-order starts
Okay.
uh, next Wednesday, so the 22nd. So
And where's that going to happen?
on the website, www.evership.com.
Okay. Very good. Mr. West, how are you
Yes,
doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just chilling in Oregon.
Well, I got to tell you, I listened to this today, I think 3 or 4 times. And I told you this, before the show started. Your voice is in prime territory here, man. The we talked, a couple years ago about the whole Freddie Mercury, kind of sound, and wow, it isn't that anymore though, because your sound has also matured along with the band, and it's it goes right with um, you know the theme of the music and everything. So 2 albums ago was the steampunk Evership.
Right.
Yeah.
This album is the almost mystical sword in the sky kind of Evership.
Right.
And so the story continues, right?
Yeah.
So what's going on with your guy in the story now? Because it ended rather strangely for him in Act One.
Well, I'll make a comment, I guess, on the uh, vocal. First of all, thank you for the compliments on the
You're
vocals.
welcome.
We've been me and Shane have really refined the process. Like we were talking before we got on air,
Hmm.
it was nice. It's been nice, like kind of him starting sentences and me finishing them more effortlessly. So it's nice to have that feeling, and also in the studio, it's a lot more relaxed. We're not nearly as in, especially the Uncrowned King Act One. It was probably the easiest for me to sing, meaning when I went in and sang, it felt a lot more natural, and I like that we have kind of you mentioned the Freddie Mercury thing and stuff like that. It's nice to be like sound like Low West from Evership, so it's nice
Yeah.
to have as a kind of a staple, mainly because we got 3 albums under our belt, and
Hmm.
what's nice with that is like me having my own voice to just compare to and try to get better each time. So, and then as far as the story goes, I'll let Shane pick that up. He's a little more
Well,
better at.
let me comment on what you just said, though, because we were talking before and we were talking about watching a YouTube of somebody who reviewed the last album. And like I said, I'm not so hot necessarily with all his reviews, but he was right. He was straight on as far as your voice goes in that
Right.
last album. Um, it all the idioms and all the this because remember it was written a long time ago and everything and all of that merged so well and the vocals just like brought it out and in the single that we're going to be hearing soon you're going to see not only a continuation of that but even an accentuation of that like I said this is another step forward for the band, not just a sequel to the last album. So
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Um, so what about our hapless hero? What's
Yes,
going on
our
with him?
so we have the two brothers, and the father has just died, and that's where the last album ended,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're on a downbeat. So, but what has happened is the twin brother, who is not the heir, decides to take a chance and run back to the kingdom and claim the throne because people won't know the difference because they're twins. So he does, and this song is called Coronation, and it is his triumphant, coronation. And
So it was their version of stealing the election.
in a sense, I mean, apparently Bill Wright knew, had a sense of the future, but no, he.
I had to
Yeah,
do that. I'm sorry.
I know. It's not political. It's not a political album. No,
No,
this is
no.
the it's Mark Twain wrote a book called The Prince and the Pauper. They by the way were contemporaries,
Oh.
but Harold Wright mostly wrote westerns because he was a West Coast guy.
Mm-hmm.
And
So where did he come up with this thing? Because
it's
this
really
is completely
no,
off
I
the
know.
wall.
Of all the works that he did, I want to say 15, 20 works. This one is just bizarre. It's right in the middle, and it's just weird. It's like this,
And so he was writing
philosophical
westerns.
allegory.
So he
Yeah,
he wrote westerns,
yeah.
wrote this thing, then went back to writing westerns.
I guess so. And apparently he wrote a sci-fi too. I have heard from
Cool. I'm
another
gonna look
friend,
that up.
Phil, Captain Phil, says he wrote a sci-fi, which would have been a proto sci-fi in the
Uh-huh.
1900s,
Yes,
right?
it sure would have been.
It would have been before Asimov, would have been before all those guys. Um, so anyway, yeah, this one is. We're going to be hearing. We're going to release 4 singles before the album is released, so people are really going to get a taste of what's
So
going on.
like a third of the album.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Now the last one will come out, and then the album will drop like within 2 weeks. But yeah, we're trying that this time, honestly, to try to feed the Spotify algorithm.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know
Yeah.
something? You got to do what you got to do on that kind of stuff. That's what What a couple years ago we were talking, and it might have been. I don't remember if it was on the air, if it was at ProgStock or something. But we were talking about the nature of the music business and something needing to change and
Oh, yeah.
different strategies needing to be used for. I mean, it's really nice to want what was going on 35 years to be going on, but it ain't happening and it ain't
No.
coming back.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad that you're taking some shots because that's what you can do right now. And since your music is not aimed at a 12-year-old girl who wants to shake her booty in her bedroom, there's got to be some other things that can be done,
Yeah.
And maybe, hey, this is a good way to do it. Now,
Mhm.
So the album's going to be released in September, October?
It's going to be released in October, and we're going to release it probably the week after ProgStock, whenever that is.
Oh. Well,
So,
ProgStock is Columbus Day. Well, Columbus Day weekend. Indigenous Americans Day.
okay.
That's what they're calling it now. And that will be on the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Yes.
So
that's
the
first
10th.
So it'll basically be on the next Friday. So whenever
Okay.
that is, I haven't
Very
looked, but
good.
provided we can get all the legal stuff going on, because as you know, we have a guest star on this album.
That's what I hear. Could you talk a little bit about it? Are you allowed to?
I am allowed to.
Okay.
It's on the video. So
Okay.
people should know by now, but no. Michael Sadler is a featured artist. He's the voice of the New Day, which is the last voice of life in the story. There are 4 of them. The first album had the voice of the waves, the voice of the evening wind. This one's going to have the voice of the night, which is sang by Beau and I's friend Mike Priebe, who's been the invisible background vocalist on all the albums.
Okay.
So we're giving him his due. So he's going to be the voice of the night. And then Michael Sadler agreed to do voice of the New Day. So
That's a first. Guest artist on your album. I mean, you've had
Absolutely.
tons of studio musicians.
Yeah.
You've done that, but
Yeah.
not people out.
Well,
there.
not someone with the caliber of Michael. And so I met Michael, incidentally enough, in 2018 when we played at ProgStock,
Mhm.
and we really hit it off well, and kind of over the years, kind of developed a little friendship, and that just turned into a thing. So
There is something behind that mustache.
Absolutely. Well, let me tell you, we gave him, yeah. Yeah,
And now he's got it again. Now he's got it again too.
He
So
is kind of growing the facial hair back out, but
yeah, we're all kind of doing that now. So it's
Yeah.
like, except yours is still dark, man. Mine.
Don't let me.
My grandfather used to actually, and I'm not even kidding, was from Russia, and he used to actually put a little bit of shoe polish in his comb, just a tiny bit, and he would run it. He would run it through. 75 years old, he had jet black hair. It's like so.
Awesome.
Well, first of all, that ain't happening, and second of all, I'm so gray now that even though I've got a beard, it's like you can hardly even tell it unless you're close up. Pretty soon, when it gets nice, and I'm not growing it out like you have, that gets for some reason that gets too uncomfortable for me. It gets itchy to me, and it's like, especially in the summer. I had a beard like that, not as thick, but I don't grow quite as animalistic as you, robustly as you do. But it's because that hair is all on my back. Ooh, this conversation took a left turn. Anyway,
so Michael Sadler.
Beau is sitting there like, what the hell are these guys doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, Michael Sadler being on it, but not on the single that's being released right now.
Oh, no.
Right.
Michael's a character. He is the voice of the New Day. He's a character in the story.
Okay.
I intentionally, Beau and I intentionally kept him off of the voices because they are specific characters. Beau really kind of plays the twins, the twin princes in the story. So he's both of them, which is fine because they're twins. But so he just kind of singing in their voice mostly. And I will take on a voice every once in a while if there's a chorus or an odd character. But in general, Yeah. So Beau is not on any of the voice recording. The voice is interludes
Okay.
on purpose by design.
Yeah. Is your daughter in this one again?
No, 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 no.
No.
She just was featured on the first. Although Michelle may be on this one.
Oh.
Uh, some background vocals. So we're
Okay.
trying to work that out.
That's nice to keep family involved. It
Yeah.
really is. The guys from Is have like 2 or 3 of their kids, playing on some of the albums. It's really cool,
Yeah.
like cello and yeah, like
Sure.
kind of like you. That's kind of cool.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how about this? Let's play this thing,
Okay.
and we'll go from there. And I think Tom is threatening to show up here a little bit,
Okay.
so we'll see how that is. So what we're going to play for you is the single that will be released next week by Evership. The name of the album is The Uncrowned King. The album will come out in October, but 4 singles are going to be released prior to the release of the entire album. I believe you said this coming weekend when this is released that also pre-orders will start for the album?
Pre-orders will start on Wednesday when it's released. It's
Okay.
Wednesday, the 22nd. And
Okay.
pre-orders want bundles. So if you're a new Evership on tour, we as we say, yeah, and you just have kind of been waiting to get stuff, this is a great time to buy it because
I think they should be called Evership Rats.
Evership.
Every ship has rats, right?
Well, no, it doesn't. Evership is a magical ship with no rats.
No
We had
rats.
we had a bout of scurvy, but
But no rats. All right. Okay, we're getting untracked. So we're going to play this, the new single for you. It'll be available for streaming on Wednesday. And you can also start your sign up for the album that's coming out, the pre-order. This is called Coronation, and it is from The Uncrowned King, Act 2 by Evership. You're listening to the House of Prog.
They can see me coming. I can see their need. They can see my entrance as I raise my steed. I can see them seeking. They see hope from dread. They can see the crown placed. Listen for the day, not what may be ahead. Come on! Start the celebration. Start the grand parade. Start the music playing. It's just like I said. Listen for the day, not what may be ahead. Things are good enough. Things are good enough.
I was just saying in the background we got a gong and a Tweety birds at the end there too. Wow, that's a full package. Really, really great piece, guys. Like I was saying, when I first heard it, I thought it was just going to be this rocky rolly thing, and it turned into like a mini epic on the way out. So really, really cool song. Really, actually, very, very good choice. I don't know. I have not heard the rest of the album, so I couldn't tell you what the rest of it's like. But really good choice for a single.
Cool. Oh, thanks.
Now it isn't 3 minutes and 52 seconds. It is 8:24.
Yeah.
So, but it's keeping with the want of the band. So, yeah. So could you talk a little bit more about this single, Shane? There's evidently some other machinations going on here.
Well, yeah. So there's kind of there's a couple of things going on in this song. One, of course, you have the coronation of the false king, but you also have the true king, who is actually in the city, hiding out in one of the temples. It's a city full of temples. That's the allegory, and so he's in the temple of the god that ought to be.
Ah.
So he is, yeah. So it's a ruined temple. Nobody worships there anymore. But he's just hiding out in a sense, kind of he's been told by wisdom that he should just kind of let this thing play out, let the truth come out effectively is the message there. So yeah, as his brother is taking
ascending,
yeah, doing all being the guy, he is basically there quietly, as the lyric says, praying for him, that he comes to his senses, so to speak, and. So that's.
Were there like threats of violence and things like that, or signs of danger to him?
No, not necessarily. No. He's
Okay.
pretty much taken the kingship pretty squarely.
Okay.
Nobody really knows, and of course you'll find out later in the story things don't work out like he thinks. But
of course,
and that's his brother's heart for him, that he, the true king, his heart for him is that he will wake up and realize that this is kind of not how things should be. So that's his concern, his compassion. Yeah. So.
Okay. So there's a little bit of side story there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the album will oscillate between the two brothers. There'll be two storylines. They'll kind of go back and forth,
and then merge at the end.
Merge at the end. Yeah.
Okay.
And we're kind of heading. That's halfway in. So that's the last song of the first chapter.
Okay.
Of that album, and then we start the Voice of the New Day, which were the birds.
Yeah. I like that.
Start the Voice of the New Day. Happy Accidents. Voice of the New Day starts there, and that's Michael's song, by the way. And then we have the.
So this is going to be another double CD set, right?
This is going to be another. Well, the first one was one CD. This
okay.
One will be one CD. Yeah,
okay, but double LP.
Yeah.
If it goes there.
Easily double LP. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and LPs, unfortunately, I mean, they're so back ordered.
Oh, I know.
Next year, just supply chain issues. It's just it's a problem. So don't hold your breath. Sorry, vinyl.
Yeah, people. I know. It's
CDs for now.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of what's going on in the economy right now. So I understand that. It looks like Tom Palmieri has joined us.
Oh.
Yes, we are on the air, Tom. Yeah, I mean, we're on the air. Everything is running. And you're in the... Okay. So, Tom, are you having a problem? Because you have to unmute, sir. Anyway. Okay. We will let Tom figure out what the heck is going on with Tom. And we will continue to press on. So at this, there's Tom. Hi, Tom. He's got a finger up, and at least it's not a bad finger, Bad finger? That's where that came from. Okay. Yeah, that's where it came from. That's the bad finger. But So Tom will be with us in a little bit. But wanted to talk about plans for Evership. What's going on right now? I know you guys had not been playing live for a while because of all the, the stuff that conspired to stop everybody from doing that. So any plans at all?
I'm going to say yes. Nothing definite, but yeah, we are going to start rehearsing in the fall and try to do some shows next year. That's all I can promise. Just get on the mailing list, Facebook, just pay attention. We are going to try to do some shows. They probably will be, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Probably a lot of them will be local at this side of the country, but
sounds good. Tom is with us now. Evership is alumni of ProgStock and part of the family.
Yes.
Part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wonderful to have them with us. And like we said when we first got on the call, it's like coming home. Coming to this show for you guys is almost like coming home. So, we're really glad to be able to do it for you. And Tom evidently has some information for people that inquiring minds want to know. I received 4 messages on Messenger today from people who were very, very politely asking that they wanted to ask questions but didn't know the format for it right now because things have been a little bit, there's things going on in the world and this stuff doesn't happen in a vacuum. Yeah, only 4 only 4 to me. So yeah. So Tom, I know you've been traveling the world here.
I still am. I'm actually sitting in a hotel room in Las Vegas right now. So.
Okay. Still have any cash?
I don't gamble.
Me neither.
I have a festival to lose money on.
That's your gamble. Yeah, that's right. And by the way, you had a picture behind you, wallpaper behind you before you put the ProgStock up of the guy's face melting in Raiders from the Lost Ark. That is wonderful. That's
one of them. The other one I love to use sometimes just to wake people up is this one.
That's from the Tom Cruise thing where he plays every character, right?
No. That's Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. Oh, that's where everybody else was playing off characters. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's that's the guy who played Iron Man. Not. Yeah. All right, Tom.
Yeah. So, hi guys.
How are you?
What did I interrupt? Is this are you guys in trouble?
Just the normal love fest, talking about the new single, which is being released on Wednesday, and the pre-order for the new album, which is also starting on Wednesday. And we just let everybody hear the track.
Great, awesome, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I've listened to it 3 or 4 times today. Really, really good stuff.
Expect nothing less from these guys. So
exactly.
So don't fall off on your game, Shane. It'll be the first phone call I make when you do.
Okay. Slap me around a little bit.
Yeah. What was that? What did you say, Beau? I said
nothing.
Beau said that sucks. Just calling you to tell you that really sucks. Yeah. Okay, Tom.
So I honestly I don't know. Obviously I've spoken to Shane a few times this week. He's probably heard more from me this week than I don't know, last year. I don't know. But I don't know what you've said, what you've announced. I don't want to steal any thunder. So.
We haven't talked about.
There's no thunder to steal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Tom,
because I kind of heard as I was coming in, I kind of heard you saying, in answer to Marty's question, that the band's going to rehearse and get ready to do things next year, and that's great. And we want to be on that calendar for you next year.
Sure. Absolutely. We'll talk about that.
But if I'm not mistaken, people are going to see your face this year.
Yeah, so we did. I just do a quick wrap up. We did had have best intentions to show up as a band this year, and things like many people in this weird time that we're in, just we could not get things to work. So, however, we do want to be there, and so Beau and I both, if Beau is still in with his schedule, I definitely will be there. We're going to show up, and we're going to do an album listening party, uh, and I will actually have CDs in hand for anyone because the album doesn't release until the following week. So if anybody buys the CDs, I will hand them to you. But we're going to have a listening party, and we can talk about the music, talk about the story, um, and we're just trying to figure out what other little special things we can do.
Right.
He just wants to come back to ProgStock.
Yes.
Well, who doesn't?
Right.
but I'm hoping I'm there. But so I think it's we very often, as people know our history, it's going on festival number 6 now. We have this thing where we do invite some of the, at least representatives of some of the bands who are going to play in a future year to come to a prior year as part of the audience, guests of the festival, and let people know themselves that they're going to be there next year. Mm-hmm. But the wonderment of this one is that Shane and Beau can come and not only do that and fill that role, but actually be able to share the new album with people. As Shane said, we're working in a listening party. We're going to make a nice environment for that. We have some ideas. Currently, we're thinking about doing that at the park right across the street, in between a couple of our sets, at a nice part of the day. We're even thinking about having food immediately available right there. If everyone remembers the pizza truck we had
that was wonderful, and I got to tell you, it being at 2:00 in the morning, it was interesting too.
yeah. But I want to make sure, like, if we're gonna fill people's time that they might use in the city, I want to make sure that they can eat.
Yeah.
So, and then I no promises. No one. Things are in flux, but I know that Shane and Beau are working on some potential surprises that we may sprinkle into the rest of the festival weekend. So,
Sprinkle.
Yes.
That's the new code word. That's the new safe word. Sprinkle.
Sprinkle.
Yeah. Right. So, hopefully everyone's looking forward to this. I know certainly I am, because we all want to know what the resolution is for the brothers.
Yeah.
In the saga of the Uncrowned King. So.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
It's all about the story.
Yeah. In Prog.
So,
it wouldn't be Prog without the story.
That's right. This is where we do it.
Yeah.
So, Tom, could you talk a little bit about other things that are going on with the festival?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to step on the time you're spending with Beau and Shane, but
guys, can you stick around just a little bit?
Yeah, we're good. I'm
okay. Good. All right.
Beau's always good.
Yeah, man. I'm down to clown.
So so just a quick maybe recap for everyone who hasn't been watching the interwebs. There are quite a lot out there. I know that. So so the folks that have previously been announced to join us this October, which is October 7th, 8th, and 9th, at the lovely theater in Rahway, New Jersey, known as the Union County Performing Arts Center. We announced Orpheus 9, which is one of the bands that we also announced from the stage last year. We announced District 97, again, another band we announced from the stage last year. And Rachel Flowers, of course, who, we've said this a billion times, we'll keep saying it every time. ProgStock isn't a festival without Rachel there. And we'll sprinkle her in as well in various places. I'll let Rachel and Jeannie know that sprinkle is the operative word this year.
He said sprinkle again.
Right. Then, of course, we announced that our great friends from Germany, Melanie Mao and Martin Schnella, are coming back over. They're bringing a percussionist with them, and they're going to mix it up with some of the people who are in the festival as well. And someone that they will be mixing into their set is a member of the fifth band we announced, Pattern Seeking Animals, who will be joining us. And of course, that person is Jimmy Keegan. So that's what we announced up till now. And of course, tonight you're learning, hopefully for the first time, that Evership will be with us in some form, the form that can be done, both for a listening party of the new album, Act 2 of The Uncrowned King, and of course, whatever sprinkling can be done.
Well said.
I like that a lot. It's very serious.
All I'll remind you and everyone else, Shane, is that we have a very, very sexy Fazioli piano on the stage. So, okay.
Yes, that is a nice piano.
Yes.
Are people using that more? When I was there, the only person I saw using it was Tom Brislin. I should pull it into the act.
Yeah, actually, we've had that piano used nearly every year by multiple people. In fact, when Rocket Scientists came and did what they announced would be their final live performance for us, when Eric had learned that the piano was available, he said, "Okay, how do I redo my stage plot to allow that sucker to be there so I can move to it when I want to?" So, yeah.
Well, now that I know it's there, next time we're up there full band, I'm definitely going to work that.
Oh yeah, work that sucker in. Absolutely. Yeah, it's beautiful. And one other band I'll announce that we're all good with and ready to go. Someone who has Grey Star Stage before, at least the leader of this band has Grey Star Stage in a few different forms before. A great friend of the festival. Many of you also out there in interweb land know him as the touring keyboard player and member of Steven Wilson's band. And that, of course, is Adam Holzman, who is bringing his band, Adam Holzman and Brave New World, who will be with us on ProgStock weekend. So really excited about that. In fact, if those of you who remember way back when the pandemic started, there was a show that Adam Holzman and Brave New World played in New York City the night before they closed Broadway. And the whole city for all intents and purposes from things. And we were at that show, and we were making the hard decision that day. Should we go to the show? Should we not go to the show? Because things were not looking great. Worried about where they're going to close the bridges and stop everything. Of course, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't a zombie apocalypse or anything. But
my daughter maintains that it is.
That it is, really?
Yes.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess.
Some bad Worcestershire sauce and everything goes wrong.
Oh boy. So we stuck it out for that show, and it was a great show, and they recorded it, and it was literally the last gig, well, at least for us and for a lot of us, because everything shut down in New York shortly thereafter. So they actually released that recording of that show, which is absolutely incredibly good, and called it the last gig. So you guys can pick that up somewhere on the interwebs. That'd be great.
Okay.
So that's where we're at so far. And another thing I'll let everyone know who's been waiting, and maybe I'm pre-answering some of the questions that were asked of you earlier today, Martin.
I'll let you know.
The ticketing site will go live this coming weekend, and I will be making announcements. We will be making announcements on social media, sending out a mailing to our mailing list. Now that we have reached a final sufficient agreement with the venue, has had a few I's to dot and T's to cross, we can now sell tickets. So we're about to get started. So we'll start as we usually do. There'll be a first initial period of time where folks can buy their tickets as producers, our elite squad of people who get some perks. And then shortly thereafter, we'll open things up to full ticket sales. We'll be offering a way to buy 3-day passes or single-day passes at the same time for different sections of the theater.
Okay. That's great. Any other sideways things happening with the festival? Because it always seems that somebody somewhere comes up with something really goofy that really works.
Well, we've got a few other tricks up our sleeve that we're working on. We just can't talk about them right
now.
No,
No, I understand that. It's just that, I think people need to know that the devious nature of ProgStock itself has not changed. And if you don't show up,
You're gonna miss it.
you're going to miss it. It's not going to happen again.
It's always
So
This is
special.
get your
Yeah,
tickets quickly.
we always do at least one thing that you will probably never see again in
Mhm.
that form. And perhaps whatever sprinkling we've already talked about represents one of those, but there may be others.
Okay.
So,
Very
but as
good.
they come, we'll make them clear to people. One thing I will update people on: the website is current on a reminder of where the venue is, and how you get to it, and where you can park for it. As has previously been the case, we can use the parking lot for the theater that's just down the street, a very short 2 or 3 minute walk away. So that's great for parking your cars. Also, the street has parking, and there is a parking garage in town. The cost is not that great. And of course, if you don't have a vehicle, or you leave your vehicle at the hotel that you might be staying at, you can use taxis and Uber. It's very affordable.
And
'cause
feet.
They're all very close by. And feet, depending upon the hotel you choose. That's right. And the website also has a reminder of all of the hotels that are in the area. Specifically, we're working on what, if any, special group rates we might be able to get. We don't have them currently, but we have a good list of 8 area hotels, hotel/motel. There's a couple of other options. The one that is the only one that is in the center of town in the city of Rahway is the Watt Hotel, which is a Hilton property. That's a great one to go to if you don't want any vehicle and you want to walk to and from the theater every day. All the rest are a short drive away, which you could do with your own vehicle or with something like an Uber or a Lyft or a taxi.
Or Marty. It seems that way. I'm taking somebody somewhere all the time. It's
A
fun.
lot of organic carpooling happens.
Yeah, it does. I mean, there's a lot of people. And the example is, like, I've been staying at the Best Western, and I will tell you, I did talk to them the other day. $96 a night. It's a nice hotel,
Yeah, you can't
and
beat that.
you're not going to be there anyway. The truth is,
That's the
this is
truth.
ProgStock. You know,
Yes.
how much time are you really going to spend in your room from about probably around 3 o'clock in the morning till about 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning? You got about 6 hours to catch shut eye before something else starts. So,
Yeah, well, one thing I will tell you is that we've done as much as we can to learn our lessons from prior years and try to find a happy median for a lot of the pros and cons of things, of when you start and what you do and how late you go and such. So this year is going to be a little bit of kind of a merger of everything we've done in the past to try and get the best of all. We're gonna start. We're not going to start in the morning on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to start a little bit afternoon so that people can get a good rest, good breakfast or brunch or whatever you might want to get before devoting yourself to nonstop musical bliss.
Progress.
Right. And we are going to go late on Friday and Saturday nights like we've done in the past and have our little late night parties where a band will be playing on stage while we have catered food at the theater. As before, but we're going to let everyone go into the city Sunday night after our final set of the weekend, and maybe meet up at a couple of great local places in the city, all of which are desperate for our business because they love us, so we might as well bring it to them.
yeah. And for people who haven't done it before, wonderful restaurants in Rahway. There's
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
there's like 16 Thai restaurants, like 47 Peruvian restaurants.
Wow.
You know,
Your numbers
it's-
are way off, but good enough.
Yeah.
And you can walk to a lot of it from the theater. So
Absolutely.
you don't have
It's all
to go-
right there.
It's all right there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and like we said, there's always people willing to give other people rides, so it really isn't a problem.
Right. So, Marty, I have not been monitoring the House of Prague chat, nor do I know your questions. So.
No, actually, all their questions were answered with what you said. They wanted to know if there were any new bands being announced, if Producer was going to go on sale again first. You know what I mean? Whether there would be a period of time. They wanted to know about venue, whether the venue is still solid, and they wanted they wanted to know about a little bit about hotels and parking, and I think you went through enough of that.
Wow. I mean, it's as if I read your mind.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what people are asking right now. They're getting ready to, make their plans to go. So
Absolutely. Yep.
they want to know what they're doing.
And a blanket apology for the length of time that it's taken. The world is still a strange place. So some things had to take some further negotiations before we could get everything just right. So we're trying to make up for lost time and get everyone ready to go.
Well, the one thing somebody asked that I really, well, you know what? I'm not going to say anything about it. It's all these COVID questions, and about what we're going to expect, from people, and But to be honest with you, I think that's, we'll go through that, soon, but not right now. We're still in formative stages right now.
Yeah, and I would say, I've been to a number of events lately in various parts of the country, and the rules that we used to be living under for the last couple of years are starting to be heavily relaxed in lots of places. And what we've done in the past was partially because of the city's requirements and the CDC's requirements and the things, and a lot of those things have been changed. So now it becomes a little bit more of deciding what we think is the right answer. And we are going to do that shortly. So yes, you're right. One thing that is important, if people have been watching the news, is that the U.S. officially lifted their requirements for COVID testing before people travel to the U.S. from international locations. So
Norway, Sweden, Finland, and the UK. We'll see you in 4 months.
Right. Exactly.
Get your tickets.
All
you can travel.
All of that so-called inconvenience for traveling to the U.S. has been removed.
Okay.
And so that's a very big step forward that's being taken. That was actually done, I believe, a week or two ago. So it's not freshly new, but
I will also point out though that last year, not one person came back to us and said that they caught COVID at the festival. Not
absolutely. You know what?
Not one.
I will caveat that by saying that we were made aware of.
Right. Of course.
I don't expect everyone to divulge personal information all the time, but certainly we were not made aware of anyone who did. And I've been just this last 2 weeks. I was at 2 large conventions where many thousands of people were inside of convention centers. Okay. And both of them had still requirements that you had to pre-screen and provide a vaccination record or a test to get clearance. And then you were basically, braceleted, and then you could freely roam and do whatever. So there are things still.
There's still wild cards out there.
And the CDC has lifted the numbers of how big of an event and what the attendance is expected to be before you have to, potentially
take
adhere
precautions.
to certain things. Right. So, we'll be making some decisions on that and saying what we have to do and what we're going to do in the coming maybe month or 2 at the most.
All right. So people, next weekend, tickets are going to go on sale at the producer level. So if that's what you want to, just got a message from Gwen Sadler.
I heard a ding. Oh,
yeah, that was
Gwen
the ding. That was Gwen Sadler saying hello to everybody. And that
awesome.
was her again. Regards, yeesh. Okay. All right. But yeah, so hello Sadler family in Europe.
Yes, and safe travels.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think Gwen is with them. I think Gwen is at home
she's at
working
home.
hard.
Okay.
But Michael's flying back today or tomorrow or whatever it is over in Germany. They did their last show.
They had a great tour.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, been seeing so many great videos posted. It's been awesome for Saga.
Yeah, it's been a long time too. So.
Yeah, one of our favorite alums.
Yeah.
Good for them.
So guys, we're looking forward to the new album. I said before I was listening to a review of the last album by this kind of crazy younger guy. he does a lot of them, and I think there's a certain amount of respect for him in the prog world to a certain extent. And I think he has his finger on some things. I think he wants to, tell people how to write their song and orchestrate, or, things like that. But hey, that's his thing. But what he did talk about was the progression of the band from the first album to that, through that album. And when you talk about, projects, bands that really do progress at a high level and keep upping the ante every time they put out an album, it's you guys. And I think it shows, and the hard work shows, and the expertise that's been gathered over the past 5, 6, 7 years, has really put you guys in the conversation of elite prog bands in the United States. So I want to congratulate you on that. I am absolutely sure that the single that was released is, and it's wonderful. I'll bet you're gonna tell everybody it's not the best song on the album or anything like that, because that's the way it always goes, right?
Well, yeah,
when you release a single, you try to release something representative.
It's like the number 2 on the album, right? Yeah, something like that.
There you go. It's like the number 2. Well, I'll let Beau talks about it. Beau loves this record. I do not, I've lost objectivity. So,
okay. Well, yeah.
But Beau comes in. Beau's the diva, so he comes in and records for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I get the Cadillac of jobs with it all.
So what I want to hear, Beau, is a review of the album, spoken like your real fans. That means people in Romania.
Seriously, though.
So Beau Vest.
Yes.
So Beau Vest. What think you about this album?
Yeah. I think it is an amazing album. I love the, I will say that our albums do keep getting better and better. And I think it's just because me and Shane's whole system keeps getting better and better as well. And I really enjoy there's a lot of up songs and a lot of down songs with this, like a good mixture. But I enjoy also how do I say this? The tap your feet, sing song ability of this album. So it has kind of more of that, straight rock album, but mixed with prog moments. So I think that's what's really cool about this album too, is that it has a very almost, I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but anyway, I love singing this album. It was really, really fun album. So I can't wait to play it live and get out there and start singing it, because it's gonna be a blast. So not to take away from any of our other albums, but like I said, we just keep getting. I feel like we're getting better. People are saying we are getting better, and I'm really, really, really proud of this one. And yeah, that's about it.
All right.
I speaking as a fan, a friend too, so I lost my objectivity a while ago too, but a fan nonetheless. I don't believe it's overstating it, but people will argue with me that, I'm sure, and they're just waiting to, that the progression of Evership's quality and depth of music, to me, is reminiscent of a certain other band moving from Time and a Word, the S album, Fragile. And the next one, holy cow, I'm sure.
Well, that was quite the compliment, huh?
Yeah, big compliment.
Thank
you.
And my favorite band, by the way.
I had a feeling, but it's, but it's the to me the essence of Evership is taking the things that made the original era of progressive rock in the 70s and maybe into early 80s and modernizing it so well that you listen to it and to me it rings every bell in my head. So and it still feels like this should be on the radio, or at least edits of them. We all know how radio works.
Yeah.
And
Right.
some I remember somebody asked me when when the band first started, when the first album came out, they were asking me, well, you're talking about this band all the time, what do they sound like? And I always responded by saying, think about if Queen had continued as a progressive rock band over the years and not gone the other way completely.
Right.
Which was a good way, by the way. But
yeah, that was a really good way, But some of the sensibilities are the same. Some of the storytelling is similar, and some of the just commentary on the human situation through. You don't come right out and say it. Exactly. The allegory, this is thinking people's music. This is not. Yeah. This is not made for
This isn't country. I'm not going to talk about my truck and
some beers.
No beer. Not once. I've never heard about a beer.
Well, hold on. Is there something out of the Broken Tree, Tom? That's
I don't know. There was a lot in there. There was a lot in there. That could have been in there somewhere.
No. But I can just chime in with this album too, and I'm just going to echo with Beau. We had such a great time making this record. All the guys in the band did a phenomenal job. And I'm jokingly that Beau came in 3 weeks. He was gone. This went by pretty quick. But I'll tell you why it went quick, because we had a snowstorm here. And Beau's got one of his houses down here at the lake that he's working on. And so he comes and just works on the house and then comes and sings a song. And that's how we did it. It was really nice and convenient and fun. But one time he came down and we got snowed in. We were in here in the studio house for like 3 days. And we knocked out, I don't know, Beau, half the album, maybe more.
Not more. It was more. Yeah, it was a little over half of the album. We knocked out that much that quick.
Yeah, we had a great time. So there might have been some it was a lot of eating and
imbibing.
Imbibing, is that the word? Yeah,
I guess that's a word. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we just had a good time.
Did we gain some weight during this period?
Oh, almost definitely. I did. No, we had a great time, and it was very much a mountain man in the mountains kind of experience. We just hunkered down and knocked it out. It was great. I think a lot of that vibe comes through, as Beau said. We're just getting to know each other so well, working together. And when I say know each other, not only just personally, but also musically, where I can write for him now. I know what he sounds like. I know what words sound good and what don't sound good for him. I know what ranges are good and aren't good for him. And I also leave enough holes for him, because I know that, as a songwriter, I may come up with something that I think is going to work, but I'm starting to write a lot more open-ended, because I know Beau also stuff will just come out of him, and it's better than I would have come up with, because it's him, it's his voice and his emotion coming through. And so you're going to hear a lot more of that. You heard some of that on the first album. You wouldn't know which is which, but you heard that on Act 1. On Act 2, there's a lot more of that happen. So, hey, do something here. Do whatever. I'm not even going to tell you. And he'll just do it. We'll do it 2 or 3 times and do something really magical. So I too love this album, and it's probably going to end up being a favorite of mine if you have to say a whole album. I mean, obviously there are songs, but this one as a whole just has a really neat flow. It is very up and down, because you have 2 storylines going on. One of them, the guy's high as a kite. He's the king. He's whatever. The other one's down at the bottom. He's got to work his way back, and it's just a really nice. It's a really nice flow. So,
do you want to make a comment for people who saw the review that guy did about the album art?
Oh, I'll make this one comment. Now, my wife has a nicer way of saying this, but I'll just say it very simply. I don't expect music critics to be art critics. So just take it with a grain of salt.
So, your message is, dude, stay in your lane. Right?
Hey, it's not just him. I hate to say it, and I don't care. So I'll
Really?
just we've heard from multiple reviewers. They just don't like the album cover. But you know what? Look at Hemispheres. Look at Farewell to Kings.
Oh,
And
horrible
kind of
album. Horrible.
this is where, yeah, it's like, so this is the older stuff, and so it's yeah. I mean, I don't care. It does exactly what I wanted it to do. It has this kind of storybook, look to it. I just think it's just unique. I found that with a lot of Evership music. Some people just didn't know what to do with it. Prog, is it neo-prog, or are they trying to copy something? Are they not? I just think you got to figure it out for yourself and find a place.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother categorizing. I mean, we all know it's Prog. Pick your subgenre.
I mean, yeah, the gazillions of that tree. You've seen the Prog tree,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's like a bazillion places you can go in Prague. So, I
Well,
mean,
that's
I don't know.
that's the freeing thing about it, and that's what the attraction is
Yeah.
that there's no boundaries.
That's right. You just do what you want to do. I'd say just tell the story and tell it in your voice. And some people are going to like it, some people aren't. Just the way it is.
Well, that's a great way to finish up here. Except I have a better way of finishing up. But I want to let you guys go. I really appreciate you coming on. And we're looking forward. We'll get back together hopefully when the album releases and play a huge chunk of it and talk about the whole thing. But I wanted to let you guys go. This is just a single, but it is, like I said in my ad, it's the first whisper of the album. So, I wanted to make sure that, we got a really good idea what that whisper sounds like. But I wanted to let you go and play you out by playing a song from the first album.
Ooh.
And in fact, going to the first song of the first album. And the reason I'm doing it is because we played the end of the roadmap. I want to show you what the beginning, I want to show people who haven't heard maybe what the beginning of this roadmap sounded like.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a track from, well, thank you first, Beau and Shane, for being here. Thank you, Tom, for being here. Thank you for the information. But Evership put out a self-titled album. Was that 2016?
It was.
Okay. And then it was a self-titled album. And this is the track that began it all. This is called Silver Light. You're listening to music by Evership here on the House of Prog.
upon me, unbeknownst to neighbor. Speak to kin. Whence comes the night, the call of the moon arise. This I find at work within me a war that bids me in silver light. I cried it's
Well, that was from Evership's first album. It was actually the first track from the first album. So you heard where they came from. If you have not heard that before, by the way, fabulous album. All right,